A billionaire cable TV mogul announces he's building the world's most expensive entertainment venue in Las Vegas. A giant sphere covered in LED screens that would revolutionize live entertainment. The price tag? $1.2 billion. 5 years later, that same sphere had cost more than twice its original budget and was nowhere near becoming a profitable business.
The sphere is in the red right now.
18,000-seat music entertainment center with the big sphere lost nearly $100 million.
$1 million over the months of July, August, and September.
The sphere was losing over $1 billion in operating costs. Its chief financial officer had resigned after just 5 weeks, and industry analysts were already calling its business model unsustainable. Now, the really interesting part isn't just about how much money it cost, but how a project that looked so revolutionary on paper became one of the most spectacular financial disasters in entertainment history.
He is the James Dolan whisperer himself.
Okay, so February 8th, 2018, James Dolan, the controversial billionaire who owns Madison Square Garden and the New York Knicks, unveils his most ambitious project yet. He wants to build a massive 366-foot tall sphere covered in 1.2 million LED lights. Inside, the world's largest LED screen wrapping around 18,600 seats, with 167,000 speakers creating immersive sound you can feel in your chest.
It's going to be amazing, something they've never ever experienced before, and I can't wait to see their faces when they see it.
The pitch is incredible. This isn't just a venue, it's supposedly the future of entertainment. No wonder the budget is what it is. Construction starts in September 2018 with massive promises about creating 3,500 jobs and transforming Las Vegas, with everything looking perfect on the surface until less than a year later, when the general contractor publicly disputes the budget and suggests it's actually closer to $1.7 billion.
We are now learning the cost of the Madison Square Garden sphere is between $1.2 and $1.7 billion.
MSG denies these claims at first, but then February 2020 brings a first official admission, with the budget jumping to $1.66 billion, a 38% increase that they try to explain away with vague corporate speak about guest enhancements. Then COVID hits and construction shuts down completely for 5 months, pushing the planned 2021 opening all the way to 2023, while the costs continue mounting every single day the project sits idle. When work finally resumes, something really strange happens that sends alarm bells ringing throughout the construction industry. MSG suddenly fires a general contractor mid-project and refuses to provide any explanation.
Attorneys for a construction company and the owners of the MSG sphere were in court today fighting over millions of dollars.
Which in the world of massive construction projects is basically a giant flashing warning sign that things are going very wrong behind the scenes. The cost keeps exploding as the months go by, reaching $2.18 billion by November 2022, and then finally hitting the staggering final number of $2.3 billion in May 2023, just months before the grand opening. That's literally double the original promise, more expensive than building an entire NFL stadium. But Dolan keeps insisting it'll all be worth it once those doors finally open and audiences experience the magic.
And it's much different than just, watching a screen.
September 29th, 2023, opening night. U2 kicks off their residency before a packed crowd paying an average of $391 per ticket, and the initial reviews are absolutely incredible. Rolling Stone calls it stunning, The Guardian describes it as utterly astonishing, and the stock immediately jumps 17% as investors finally start believing in Dolan's vision. Then, the earning report drops. November 3rd, 2023. Just 5 weeks after that triumphant opening, the first quarterly earnings report drops like a bomb.
Well, the sphere lost nearly $100 million in its opening quarter,
with an operating loss of $98.4 million. And on the exact same day, the CFO quits after serving just 11 months in the position. Dolan tries to downplay the CFO's departure by saying it's pretty challenging, probably wasn't a great fit. But the New York Post later reports that the resignation actually came after yelling and screaming from CEO James Dolan, which paints a very different picture of what really happened. Then Dolan admits something that should terrify any investor when he says the CFO's job has a heavy operational component that probably we didn't foresee. Essentially confessing that they spent $2.3 billion building this thing without actually understanding how to run it once opened.
Sphere Las Vegas is apparently losing a lot of money.
The financial hemorrhaging continues at a devastating pace, with Q2 posting $193 million in losses, Q3 adding another $142 million, ultimately leading to a first-year total of $507 million in operating losses. But underneath all these mounting losses lies an even more fundamental problem that threatens the entire concept. The business model itself is completely broken from the start. Every single show requires months and months of custom content production because you can't just bring a normal concert tour to the Sphere. Everything has to be created specifically for that massive wraparound screen. With the Wizard of Oz adaptation alone costing $80 million for just 80 minutes of content, it's pretty expensive.
Is the Sphere in Las Vegas worth $100 or even $500 for a concert ticket?
But even worse than the production costs is the revenue split, because U2's deal gave them 90% of all ticket revenue, meaning the Sphere only keeps 10% of the money from ticket sales. And now every single major artist who considers performing there expects exactly the same deal, which according to the New York Post is causing major issues at the negotiating table, because the economics simply don't work when you're giving away almost all your revenue. The inevitable result of this broken economic model is that the venue sits empty for massive stretches of time, with 46 days passing mostly dark between U2's last show and when Fish finally started their brief residency. All those exciting rumors about majority artists coming to perform, Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, Bon Jovi, turned out to be nothing but wishful thinking, as none of them ever materialized into actual bookings. Then, in March 2025, comes what might be the single most embarrassing moment in the Sphere's troubled history, when the New York Post reports that Harry Styles is supposedly in final negotiations for a 35-show residency.
Reports out of New York are that Styles has agreed to play up to 35 dates beginning this fall and winter.
Only for the Sphere to issue a public denial just hours later, something they explicitly said they would never do for unannounced acts. The spokesperson goes out of their way to state that the rumors are entirely unfounded and were never discussed at all, essentially breaking their own company policy just to make it absolutely clear to the world that Harry Styles wants nothing to do with them. But if you think the booking problems and financial losses are bad, you haven't seen anything yet. The Sphere faces operational problems that money simply can't fix.
First time coming here. I take my seat. Here we go. And wait. What the?
Customers who paid anywhere from $500 to $1,500 for supposedly premium Section 100 seats discovered the immersive screens. Literally the entire point of the experience are completely blocked by Section 200 overhangs, with the Sphere having sold these tickets at full price without any disclosure whatsoever about the viewing problems.
How much did you pay for your seat, Barbara?
$500.
The neighbors filed noise lawsuits claiming their windows rattled from the exterior sound system, and in March 2025, a judge denied the Sphere's motion to dismiss, the case going to trial. The ambitious London Sphere, meant to prove the concept could work globally, got cancelled in November 2023 after 5 years of planning and millions spent, forcing MSG to take a $116.5 million loss when London Mayor Sadiq Khan rejected the project. Then, September 2024 brings the financial industry's official verdict when Benchmark Analyst issues the first sell rating, calling the profitability outlook unsustainable. And then Dolan makes a statement that will define this entire disaster.
Okay, what was the first part? Oh, construction costs themselves. So first pancake, right? Always, rarely is it the best pancake.
What? He literally compares a $2.3 billion construction project to making breakfast. explaining that it's the first time we've done it, and we've learned and we're getting better at it. Think of it as the first pancake. This first pancake cost $2.3 billion to make, lost $507 million in its first year of operation, and charged customers full premium prices to be guinea pigs for an experiment that management openly admits they didn't know how to execute properly. Unbelievable. Just imagine Tim Cook releasing the iPhone and then publicly stating that Apple doesn't actually know how to operate their own product. It's genuinely stunning that someone could spend $2.3 billion on a project and then openly admit to having no idea what they're doing. The Sphere is a technological marvel for sure, offering an experience unlike anything else on Earth, but it's also quite possibly one of the biggest financial disasters in entertainment history. I won't drag this out. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, since I haven't asked you the whole time. It means the world to me, if you could. Oh, and by the way, I've left a similar video in the description. It's about the Cybertruck. Go watch it. Cheers.